Hello everyone, welcome back and thank you as always for watching. Tonight, start actually playing things. I'm done now with, I've reached the limit of my guitar knowledge, so I'll get on to actually playing the things. Thank you for watching so far, I hope it's been of some use. And if you are looking currently for your instrument and then you're looking where to rejoin this app, this is week number 6 or just number 6, and we're going to actually start playing things. Tonight we're going to look at tuning the instrument and then just playing some introductory notes, and I'm also going to just make a quick point about standard referencing here, default, usual, normal, call it what you will. What I mean by that is, first of all, the strings on a guitar, there's 4 on mine, and probably on 80-85% of bass guitars, there's 4 on those as well. There's a good smattering have 5, and I have even seen 6s and 7 stringers very occasionally, not often. Some people choose to play a 5 because it plays a lower note than a 4 does, and they want that lower note. I don't want to sound patronising when I say this. My personal view is that it's better to learn on a 4 and know where you're going, develop your technique and your playing, and then if you find that a 5 string is what you need, then graduate onto that. But my personal view would be that it's better to start on a 4 and then move on. When I was recently doing the search for this one and I was in a music shop, I had half an idea that, having played a 4 string for 3 years, is it worthwhile thinking about moving on to a 5? And I was lucky enough that the shop had a 5 stringer that I liked in at the time, and I got a ride on it, and it put that myth to bed for me because I couldn't get used to it at all. It didn't sound, I know practice would have made better, but certainly for now I'm more than happy with a 4 string, and I'm going to stick with this for now. The other standard thing refers to the tuning of the 4 strings. You can tune them to any, more or less within reason, any note you want, but there is a standard tuning of E, A, D, G. It's a phrase we'll just keep coming back to and back to all the while, and the sooner that you get it locked into your head, then the easier you'll find things. E, A, D, G is the standard tuning of the bass guitar, and everything that I'm going to do revolves around that tuning until basically we say any different. I think actually it would be interesting if this thing lasts this long. Way down the line, I might look at tuning it differently. Quite a lot of the music I enjoy is played on differently tuned instruments, but again, just for ease of reference and consistency of message, then E, A, D, G, stick with that. So, to talk first of all about the tuning of the instrument. Now, you could give it a go with your own ear, especially if you've got half a mind for your music beforehand anyway, and it can be quite good fun to kind of get it in, hear a note and get it into what you think is the right area, and you will do, you'll get it pretty close, but it's highly unlikely you'll get it exact, and that's where automatic tuners really become an advantage, because they will get it absolutely spot on. You can download an app for it, I believe, on your phone, and there are loads available. A couple of years ago, when lockdown first got going, I subscribed to the excellent Fender guitar channel, which did a series of module-based learning, and part of that, of course, was how to tune your instrument, and it included a downloadable tuning app as part of it. At the time, partly the reason that I subscribed to it was because it was free. Fender's gift to the lockdown situation, and very much appreciated too. I would imagine it's not free anymore. I don't know, I haven't looked. So I can't tell you whether those apps are free to use or not, sadly. If you want to go for that, then obviously they're good, they work fine. The reason I don't use them is I'm not that great with phones. I quite often don't have mine with me, or if I get to pick it up. So I've got, I don't know if you can see it on the headstock there, I have got a battery-powered tuning machine, and thousands of types of these, all variations on the same theme. They clip onto your headstock and you play a note and it tells you whether you are above the right tone, below it, or smack in tune. If you're above the note, it's too high. That's also called being too sharp. And if you're below the note, it's too low, then you're also called being flat. I have already, just for sakes of speed, I've already tuned my bottom 3 strings, G, D and A, but I do know that my E string is currently out of tune, so I'm just going to bring that one into tune just to demonstrate. So what you need is nice and quiet, and hit one string and let it ring, and the frequencies that the note generates are picked up by the tuner, and it tells you whether you're in tune or not, basically. So here's an E. I don't know if you can see on the screen there, that's an upside down E, and the fact that that line is below it tells me that that note is actually a little bit flat. So I just need to tune that. So just bear with me 1 second while I turn my tune around so I can see what I'm doing. You tune it by means of these 4, the strings are wound onto these 4 heads, and these 4 pegs here, the tuning pegs, tighten or loosen them. Tighter, note goes higher, slack it off, note goes lower. My note is below the line, so I know I'm flat and I need to tighten it up a little fraction. You are talking here pretty minimal adjustments, to be honest, that you're not like winding the thing round through full turns. Let me just turn that back round so you can see that again. That is now in tune. Don't know if that's coming through very well there. So I'm happy now that the instrument is in tune and we're ready to go playing. So I think right from the word go here, it's really worth making the point of good technique. Even though all we're going to do tonight is hit what are called open strings, that's just playing these 4 strings without holding any frets down. There are 7 main notes: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then the 8th note, A, gets you back to, as the song once said, back to where we started. And so 8 notes makes what's called an octave, oct for 8. And within those 7 notes, the 7 different notes, 4 of them are these 4 strings. So E, our bottom string, the thick one, that's the lowest note that the guitar can play. And then there's A, D, and G. So at some point in the next lesson, that's when you start filling in the gaps and learning how to play all the other ones. We forget that completely tonight. All we're talking about is these 4 strings here. So we're not even going to use, all our left hand is doing tonight is taking the weight of the instrument a little bit, because I've not got my strap on. All I want to do tonight is pluck the strings with my right hand and get good technique going with it. So what you need to be, your arm is going to be on the rim of the bass, taking the weight of your arm, and your hand is completely relaxed. The wrist is just dangling loose, no tension in it at all. And then your first and second finger, index and middle, is just going to walk, basically. And if you do that down there, then you're playing your note. Now, when I first started playing, I came a bit dogmatic about trying to learn it myself without too much outside influence. And while I enjoyed doing that, it ultimately proved to be something of a mistake, because by the time I looked at taking lessons, which I now do, I'd already built it. Although I was actually playing songs by then and playing them in my own mind quite happily, I was actually using very bad playing technique that I'd developed myself, and I was completely unaware that it was even bad technique, to be honest. The only reason I went for lessons was because I felt I'd reached a point where I was never going to get any better than the point I was at, and I wanted to get better than that. And inside of a minute playing in front of my tutor, he told me exactly why I was never going to get any better. And since that point, we've totally rehashed my technique, which is almost, in a way, it's meant starting again, but this time with the knowledge that I didn't have last time of where everything is. And I feel I am becoming a better player for it. So while at some point you definitely do really, if you are going to take it seriously, you probably almost certainly do need some kind of professional instruction to help you along at some point. I think it's a great idea if you can go to that instruction with some previous knowledge already in place, and you'll save yourself an awful lot of time and money actually not having to go through weeks and weeks of him just telling you how to strike the strings and where they are on the board and that kind of thing, which hopefully is all sorts of stuff I can cover in this before you take it on another stage. So, stop waffling, Jackson. The playing of the instrument, we just want to make the thing ring out. So, index finger on the E string, somewhere in the middle by your pickups. And the stroke that you're trying to get, try and feel like you're hitting through the string. You'll hear as well here that the note rings out for a long, long time after you've hit it. And that's another thing that we can mention tonight and bring in straight away, that you need to be able to handle that ringing note, because otherwise it will create an unholy racket if what you've played previously is still ringing when you hit the next one. So when you hit your first note, it rings for as long as it rings until it either runs out, which is quite a long time, or you put your finger on it and then it kills the vibration and the note stops. If you're going to play more than one note, then it's a good idea to try and alternate between your first and second finger, your index and middle. So you might get index, middle, index, middle, index, middle, all the while striking through the string. And the reason I say that, when I started playing and making my own way with it, I thought I was actually going okay, I was getting the notes all right, but I was completely unaware that the way I was playing, I was plucking. I heard the phrase pluck the note, so I thought that's what you did, and my fingers were kind of curled under the string, and I was producing a very staccato type sound, which might be what's needed at some point. Music does call for a staccato sound, but generally what you're trying to do with your note is make each one ring into the next, and so there's no gap between the two. It's just continual sound until you kill it. And the killing of the note is what's called muting. And there are loads of ways that you can mute notes, and as this develops and we do more and more weeks, we'll start covering them. Tonight, all we're doing is playing with our right hand on the open strings. So all we've got to do, once we've played the E, is kill it go on to play the A. And the way I'm going to kill it is to put my thumb on it. Now, your thumb, sometimes people rest their thumb on top of the string, which is let the string take the weight of your hand. Not a bad idea at all. There's also a thing called the floating thumb technique, because as you start moving down the different strings, and if your thumb is resting on the first one, you've got to hook your thumb down each time you're playing. If you're playing the floating thumb, then your thumb is basically just resting against the string rather than on top of it. So when you play your E, your thumb's resting in front of it there, then you can start playing the next string and the previous one's muted. Just to show what happens if you don't mute, there's E. Horrible. All four ringing at once there, and that's just terrible. What we're hoping to do is play the E, floating thumb, play the A, move the thumb down a little, D, move the thumb down a little again, G, and so on and so on. So all tonight needs to be about is, first of all, you burn E, A, D, G into your mind, because that underpins everything that we do. And secondly, you get used to playing the string, mute, play, mute, play, mute, mute. And when you're playing, when you strike through the string, obviously when you play the E, you're actually striking into the guitar as you come through that one. When you strike A, the second string down, your finger will come right through it and you're actually hitting the E string. So that's another way of muting it, as well as your thumb. If you've hit A, if you've hit E straight after it, and you strike right through, you've killed the E string as well as playing A at the same time, which is quite useful. And then same again, you've played A and move straight on to D. So these are just the little technique things that I know it sounds like it's a lot taken in one go, but it's the stuff that if you can get it going right from the start, get it becoming second nature, it will make your life so much easier. Having established where your four strings are, A, E, D, G, try then striking two at once. When I said two at once, I meant just playing with two fingers on the same string. And the final thing that's really worth trying to get into your mind from the word go is to get a sense of rhythm about what you're doing. Because as a bass player, along with the drummer, we are the rhythm of the whole thing. And if we aren't in time, as well as playing the right note, if we're out of time, then the music sounds out of time too. So it's a great idea from the word go, more or less, even while you're just hitting one string, count while you're doing it. A bar of music, for example, if you've ever seen a music stave, say there's 4 beats in the bar, so just counting 1, 2, 3, 4. So just 1, 2, 3, 4. And get used to keeping regular time. And when you can do it on one string, then go on to the next one. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, bit of a fool sat there counting things, and you'd rather not, or you just want to concentrate on playing the strings themselves, then also downloadable as an app is a thing called a metronome. And that is a machine that clicks, and it clicks a rhythm. In the old days, when I played the piano as a kid, it used to be a wooden box with an arm on the front of it that had a weight, and it made the weight just tick from side to side. And the lower you put the weight down, the faster the arm moved, and it counted the beat basically. And it was, by the way it was engineered, it was precisely regular to whatever speed it was set to. And the modern metronomes, like the downloadable apps, are exactly the same principle. You set them to whatever speed you want, however, what's called beats per minute. So let's say if you were playing 60 beats a minute, then that's 1 beat every second. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably start off much slower than that, to be honest, say 30 beats per minute. So you're playing one every 2 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just concentrate on your technique, making sure that you're striking through, alternating your fingers. And when you're happy, do all that on just the one string. And then when you're happy that you've got that going down, mute it, move on to the second string, do exactly the same again. And when you feel you can do all 4 of those happily, and you're playing, striking through, you're killing it, you're not hearing any extra notes by hitting the wrong thing, or notes still ringing out because you've not muted it properly, then you're hitting your target and you're ready to speed it up and start knocking it up to 60 beats a minute. And when obviously eventually when you can comfortably play 60 beats a minute, knock it up to 90, 100, whatever. And eventually you just get much quicker. And at that point, once you're playing that kind of speed comfortably, without any kind of ringing or lack of muting, then you've nailed it and you're ready to move on. So that's all we need to say for this first one, really. Just get used to playing those 4 open strings, make sure your instrument's in tune, and next time out I'll try and explain the mysteries of this thing and where all the notes are on this. So until such time, folks, thank you all for watching as ever. Stay safe and see you soon. Bye.